Right now, I'm so pleased to bring to you Assemblyman Angela Santa Barbara from the 111th District, and we are going to find out about a great program that's being proposed. It was passed in the Higher Education Committee, is that correct?
Yes.
And what's happening to finally help some of the kids that are going to school?
Well, Ann, first of all, it's great to be back on the show.
Yeah, good to see you.
It's great to hear some great music, enjoying you today. This Tuition-Free New York is a bill that looks to, it has 4 points, trying to make college more accessible, more affordable, and also trying to improve the economy here in New York. I don't know, an interesting stat is that 60% of graduates are graduating with $25,000 in debt or more.
Oh yeah.
So it's not a pending crisis; it's a crisis, and it's actually student loan debt actually is more than auto loan and more than credit card debt now at this point.
Well, I believe that because, and one of the things that I find is a lot of kids aren't sure what they're doing, so they end up, instead of taking 4 years, take 5 years. And that, according to economists, this is not a good plan. They should really try and do it in 4 years, or less.
And it's becoming a problem for students that you graduate, you have all this debt, and it's not a good situation to get started off on.
Not to have that high a debt.
No. So what this bill does is, private colleges, we know tuition has been going up, but state colleges, SUNY and CUNY colleges are meant to provide education, meant to make it accessible for anyone that wants it.
And it's not that, I mean, when you start looking at the prices, it's not, and then, then they got to stay there and it starts adding up.
Yeah, just tuition alone, the increases are putting an education out of reach for a lot of working families. I hear about people taking out home equity loans,
That's right.
Parents that are taking second and third jobs just to pay for their children's education. So education has been very important to me since I took office in the Assembly, and so this is a bill that I was proud to be a sponsor of. It's called Tuition-Free New York, and what it does is it creates a program where we make college more accessible and more affordable, and debt-free, a debt-free college education a possibility.
Now, have you been? I haven't watched. Have you been showing? Yeah, here we go. We're talking.
Yes,
about
they're in the slides that I sent, and basically what it's going to do is going to allow people to do if they want to, and that's the question. What if tuition in New York could be free? And that slide shows the increases over the years. And at one point, a SUNY education was free. And then, as you see,
I remember that. Yeah.
The red line, as it starts to rise, and it's become something that's it's been put out of reach for many families. That's the stat I just talked about. 60% of New York students graduate with a debt averaging $25,000. Some are much higher, depending on the degree that you're going for.
Yeah.
So these are the 4 points. Accessibility, we want to make it affordable. There's a community component, and economics. What this bill does is, if you agree to give back to the community 250 hours of community service for every year you're in college, your education, your tuition could be free at
250 hours? That's not very much.
It adds up to quite a bit over 4 years.
Yeah.
And based on figures, that puts this program pays for itself, because the community service hours, they go back to these nonprofits, go back to these community service projects.
So what they'll do is they work for an organization and they don't get paid. Is that correct?
Exactly. Or we thought about some of the rural areas. It could be a community project. It could be rebuilding a park. It could be something where you're shoveling out seniors in the wintertime. Something that's approved, an approved project. It's going to put back money into the economy. It could generate $3 billion a year.
I believe that.
Because we're estimating 400,000 or 500,000 students would take advantage of this if this was implemented. So
that's a lot. It's like you're talking not quite a year of service.
Right. But here's the thing with.
Oh, you're saying 250 hours. There's 40 hours in a week, so you can do the
math.
Right.
And based on the time you're in school, it actually works out to every day you're there, you'd have to do some community service.
Okay.
Or some variation there.
You don't do it afterwards. You have to do it during?
Well, again, it has to be approved.
Okay.
You have to present the project, or you have to say, all right, I'm going to work for a nonprofit, whatever it may be, and submit it and get it approved. And we would leave that up to the education.
Do you think this program will have any effect on keeping young people in this state?
Well, that's a good question, because the stats show that almost 20% of graduates, the day after they graduate, they leave New York.
They're out of there.
So the other part of this is
But they're looking for other jobs, obviously.
the other part of this is that when you're done, you agree to stay in New York for 5 years. So
That's to me is very important.
You're committing. We're keeping our best, our brightest here. You're committing to stay in New York. You're going to
And what
start your
happens if
family.
they don't?
Well, then it gets converted into a student loan like it would anyways.
Okay.
So you're committing for 5 years. You're keeping your best, your brightest here. You're creating an educated workforce, which businesses look for when they look to relocate, and you're keeping those people here. Also, think about the money that's paid back after you graduate. Where does it go? It goes to the banks. It goes to the lenders. That money is going to stay with our students now. That money is going to go back into our economy, back into our small businesses. So you're going to generate more economic development in the local areas where the students live. So it's like I said, this program, it could pay for itself over time. I think if we give it a chance, it'll work. I think it'll create an educated workforce. I think it'll keep families here. We're going to invest in them, but they're going to invest in us too.
Okay, now are we talking only about 4-year colleges or 2-year colleges? What are we talking about?
Right
I know
now,
it doesn't cover graduate school, I know that.
Right. Right now, we're a 2 or 4 year
Okay.
A 2 or 4 year degree is what we're starting with. We're going to take it one step at a time. If this bill gets passed, we're going to see where it goes. But right now, that's how we're starting it off. And we hope that we can make debt-free college a reality. We hope that we would also, if this were to pass, we'd be the only state to be able to say, look, if you stay here, if you commit to New York, your kids could go to college.
That's right.
For free.
Yeah.
College is accessible.
It might even bring people to the state.
It's a real game changer for New York State. I think it will bring people here. People will want to come and live here and start their lives here, invest in New York. And like I said, the community service alone, this program pays for itself. And then the economic benefits that goes along with it.
How good a chance do we have of getting this implemented?
Well, we were hoping.
And does Governor Cuomo like it?
We were hoping to get it done before the end of session. Obviously, that has not happened. It did move through the committee. We're going to keep pushing for it. We're going to keep fighting for it. I think it's important that we make sure the future generations can get educated. We can make college affordable, accessible, which is the mission of our SUNY schools. To make it accessible. That's always been the mission, and we've kind of lost that mission over time, or we're putting it out of reach with tuition increases over time.
Yeah, and they're nudging up. Now, if it passes in the next session, when would it be implemented?
Most likely the following year. If it were to pass this session, it could get implemented. It could have gotten implemented by next year. But again, we'll have to wait and see how this unfolds. I mean, the bill
is there good support?
Yeah, there's over 40 sponsors on the bill.
And who would be against it?
Well, I don't know. I don't know that anybody's against it. I think.
Why would? I guess my question is, why would anybody be against it? And if so, is it because of economics, or I mean, why?
For me, I think it's something very important. Again, one of the other milestones that I didn't talk about, we hit the $1 trillion mark in student debt. That's $1 trillion we're talking about, and it's not getting better. So this is a crisis we're going to have to deal with at some point. So I think this bill makes sense. I think New York can take the lead. I think New York can be the only state to offer this program, and I think that really makes a difference for the state to keep people here, to generate that income. You're also going to have higher earners. You're going to have the stats showed it. When you have a 2 or 4 year degree, you're going to earn more money. You're going to have more income tax, more sales tax right here in our state.
It's so important to get that money back into the economy. And the fact that someone stays here 5 years probably is a pretty good indicator that after that 5 years, they're going to be here late after that. They're going to be established after 5 years.
We want to make sure our future generations, my parents came here so that I'm a first generation here, as you know. They came here so I could go to school. And I remember my parents working 2 jobs so I can go to school. And the situation has gotten worse since then. It's moved in the wrong direction. And I've heard stories.
This is a win-win situation.
I think it's a great bill. I think it should receive the support to make it through.
What can people do? Can they write a letter?
Well, you've gotten one of these in the mail, I'm sure. I have an online petition on my website. People can go and sign it online, or they can come to my office, pick up one of these. Any bit of support from residents here.
Do they have to be in your district?
They can be anywhere in the state.
Okay.
They can sign on to this as well as any of the other sponsoring members. I'm going to leave this with you. Hopefully
Please
you'll
do.
sign
Yeah.
on
Oh
as
no,
well,
definitely. Because I'm a firm believer in college. Not that college is for everyone. We want to at least say that, but for those that want to go to college, have been unable to go to college because of finances, this plan is just it's a jewel.
And for your Twitter followers, the hashtag is tuition free NY, so you can find it and follow us.
And you know what? He'll answer. He'll call him up. He'll be glad to talk to you about it, and probably get out there. And he's always out there somewhere, right? You're always out there somewhere.
Well, I think it's an important bill, and I've really tried to promote the benefits of it, and I appreciate the opportunity to talk about it on
We know
the show.
that Angelo has been behind education. He's been behind STEM. He's been behind engineering programs, the future cities. Education is his mantra.
Thank you.
Good.
Ma'am.
Thank you so much for being here.
It's been
and
great to
have
join
a
you.
wonderful summer.
Thank you.
Say
You
hi
too.
to your family too.
Thank you.
Good.